you might be doing creepy things and not even knowing it. Most guys that creep women out, they don't even realize what they're doing. So in this video, we're actually going to look at an email. This is the classic story. This is exactly what I see all the time. So if you're worried that you might be being perceived as a creep, or people have said that before, you're definitely going to want to pay attention here. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you're going to get out of this. Now, one thing I want to say before we get into the email is that guys will often try to tell you that if an attractive guy does something, that he gets a positive response. But if an unattractive guy does it, it's creepy. And that's the difference, is the attractiveness level of the guy. There is some truth to that, but that is not nearly the story. It's more about how the guy approaches. But yes, if you're an attractive guy, you're going to be able to get away with more stuff, but you're also probably going to be more bold. At the end of this video, I'm going to give you the formula for figuring out whether something's creepy or not. And it'll make sense to you once we go through this. But remember, a lot of guys are going to try and tell you this. They have this philosophy in life, thinking that looks is the only thing that matters, and that women treat ugly guys horribly bad. And there is definitely some truth to the fact that it's called a halo effect in psychology, that if you're a more attractive person, you're going to get better responses from people. That's definitely true. But that's not the whole story. And that's a very easy way of dismissing that you have to do anything. So we're going to break that down. So let's just go ahead and jump into this email here. I'm going to pull it up on the screen so you can read through it with me. It's long, so we're going to go through this piece by piece here, and we're going to break down what this guy did. It's pretty bad. All right. I'm not going to lie. So he says, "Hello, John. This is Sam. I've been enjoying your videos recently about self-improvement and dating. There's this problem I've been having for a while, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. Basically, there's this girl named Jenny who I once knew from elementary school, and I know she lives next door to me. I only met her once in college back in late 2019 before the bug happened. I would love to see her again on my block, but I never see her outside, which I guess is understandable since she's not the outgoing type." All right. I know this is long, guys. Bear with me. We're going to get to some good stuff here, but this is important. And the reason why I'm giving this background too is because a lot of you guys think like this is fine. Don't worry about that. So we're going to fix your thinking. But you can already see this obsession that's going on. In fact, there's a really good series on Netflix called You. I think that you should watch that if you're interested in this video, because he is creepy, but he does have some success with that. But he doesn't come across as creepy. He doesn't let the creepy side come out. People don't see the creepy side. It's there. It's hiding. All right. So this is some of the mindset, which is rare, I think. So, okay, back when we first met in college, I got her Instagram. And looking back on that day, I wished I could have asked her for her number instead. I do not have her number. I tried texting her a few times on Instagram in the past. I never said hi, good morning, or anything like that. And she did somewhat get back to me back then, until when I said we should hang out once this pandemic is over. She never got back to me. Since then, she never bothered to respond back to my text. Okay, so a couple of things here. First of all, just the creepy mentality, the creepy mindset. He said he knew her from elementary school, and then he met her once in college. So he knew her all this time. He never met her until college. So he had her on his mind, obviously, up until that point. And then he meets her once in college and gets her Instagram, and he wishes he got her phone number. So that mindset of making this girl so high on a pedestal of, again, like I said, that Netflix series, if you've seen it, You, where you obsess about this one girl, that mindset will make you creepy. That's why I teach you guys how to be successful with lots of women. You should be going out and dating lots of women. It's not because I want you to be a player and I want you to up your lay count so you can be cool. It's because you're not going to have success with one woman unless you can have success with 50 women. Do you understand why I'm saying this? Because you have to get rid of this mindset. They call it one-nightus, where you're obsessed about one girl. Because if you're obsessed about one girl that you haven't even really met, it's always going to come off creepy, and you're going to do creepy things, and you actually become dangerous to women and to society. It is what happens, all right, as you get frustrated and angry and all these things. So he messed up here by making her so important. All right. Now, she gave him a clear indication here. He said that he tried texting her a few times on Instagram, and she did somewhat get back to him. And then once he said we should hang out, then she never responded to his text. All right. So that's a clear indicator. If you ask a girl to hang out with you and she ghosts you, she doesn't respond at that point, She's saying she's not interested. At that point, you just move on. You have to move on. You cannot have this mentality that somehow this one girl, she's the perfect girl and you have to win her over. I know you've heard those stories. It doesn't work out that way, especially if you are weak, especially if you are trying to buffer yourself from rejection. When he met this girl, if there was a spark there and there was some interest and she was reciprocating and he was bold, but hiding behind Instagram or texting in general, that's weak. Why is it weak? Because you're not actually facing rejection. She could just ghost you. You need to go out in person and talk to women. Now, maybe in this case, he didn't have the opportunity to do that. That's fine. Then you just move on. Or you try, maybe you reach out on Instagram, but you can imagine what kind of things was he messaging her on Instagram, right? How was he coming across? You cannot hide your desperation, and it is going to come across as creepy, especially if there was not enough of a spark or connection. If he's just saying we should hang out, let's just hang out. That's a weird thing to do. You need to build some rapport. You need to make it actually, no, I want to take you out for drinks. I want to take you out for a date. You have to make it very clear what your intent is. Otherwise, it is creepy. That's weird. That's what serial killers say. They say, let's just hang out. So let's move on here. He says, I started following Jen A on Twitter and I joined a Discord server that I knew she was in. All right. 3 months ago, I tried to get her attention on the server without getting ghosted again by mentioning the high school she graduated from in the chat. And as a result, everyone there called me out for being creepy and I left the server to avoid stirring up unnecessary drama. Okay, this kind of goes without saying. So she ghosts him. What does he do? He follows her on Twitter and then he joins a Discord server that he knows that she's in. And then that's not good enough. He gets her attention by mentioning the high school she graduated from. That is creepy. That's stalkerish creepy. And you might say, well, he wasn't really doing it. He was just trying to get a hold of her. He didn't have ill intent. He was not trying to harm her. Yeah, but he's obsessed about this girl that he's only met one time. All right. Now think about it from the female perspective. If there's this guy that is so obsessed about you, he doesn't even know you. The most that he could be attracted to you is on your physical appearance. Because think about it, like he doesn't know who she is. Maybe he likes the conversation that they had, but he cannot be this in love with her, right? Not with actual her. It's an ideal or something, or some image of the perfect woman that he's plastered on her face. So think of it from the female perspective. She thinks, all right, if I respond to this guy, if I give him any kind of positive encouragement, let's say she was like, maybe I would want to go on a date with this guy. And then she decided, actually, I don't like this guy so much. And then she rebuffs him in some way and he gets so insulted. What is he going to do? Is he going to follow her home and stab her? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's different if you're dating a guy for 3 months and he's super obsessed about you, and you're obsessed about him. That's a different thing. But if a guy is obsessed about a girl for a long period of time and he hardly knows her, then she has to wonder, if she rejects him in some way, will it devastate his life? Will he have this super negative reaction? Because he had this super positive reaction without really knowing her. Does that make sense? That's why it comes out as creepy. That's why it's dangerous and scary to women, even if your intent is harmless, because your intent right now might be harmless. But what happens when you get rejected? Because you see guys all the time, then maybe you've done this before. Okay, no shame in this, but you're super, super nice to a girl. And then she does something and all of a sudden now you're pissed at her. Like she's the most horrible person in the world, because everything is amplified when you're seeing the world through this one-nightist type of lens. That's why, again, you got to meet other women. You can't just be getting obsessed about one woman. All right. So let's continue on in this lovely story here. Okay. He says here, I know what I did was creepy and I know I did F up, but I never intended to make Jenny feel uncomfortable. I should have never done any of that, yet I acted out of desperation because I feared I wouldn't get a chance to tell her how I felt about her and I wouldn't see her again. I desperately took that risk to get her to open up to me, knowing she most likely wouldn't respond to me if I had DM'd her instead. I feel terrible and I haven't been able to stop thinking about all this for weeks. Okay. So here you go. Again, this is probably a story that many of you guys can relate with. I've been there. I've had those same kind of thoughts. If she just knew how I felt about her, if I could just tell her, if she just knew how much I love her, even though I've only met her once, and I just need to tell her so that she can know. And then she'll be more creeped out, even more fucking creeped out, like ridiculously creeped out when you write that 5-page letter like a serial killer. Now, I know it seems like a good idea in your head. Believe me, I think every guy has to go through this and realize it's not going to work and it's not good. Does it make sense to you that why this is bad? Because like I said, from a woman's perspective, does she want a guy that's devoted to her, that would go to the ends of the earth for her, that would take a bullet for her, all those things? Yes. But does she want that guy to be willing to do all that stuff when he's only just barely met her, or based on just her physical appearance, or based on some ideal, which is most likely, of a woman that he wants, that he's plastered on her for some reason, because his brain said, okay, I got to find someone that I can plaster this ideal, because she can't live up to that ideal. And then what happens when she doesn't? Then he gets angry. Then he turns. Then he goes the other way because he's got so much passion about something, right? So a woman does want a guy that is like some of you guys, that has that devotion and passion and love for her, that would go to the ends of the earth. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that, but it has to be earned. And when I say earned, what I mean is earned in the sense that she has to feel like the guy loves her because of who she is, because he's learned about her, especially about her bad side, and still loves her. Because one of the greatest fears that women have is that if a guy figures out what kind of an emotional crazy bitch I actually am, or my weaknesses, my insecurities, that he won't love me. And so I have to present this front. And that's the biggest insecurity that most women have. And so can you see how this makes sense here? Why you don't want to do that? You need to actually have some kind of standards for yourself. She also looks at a guy like this and she says, this guy doesn't have any standard for himself. Just as much as he's obsessed with me, he could be obsessed with any woman. It just so happens that he just picked me to stalk and to be obsessed about. Think about it this way too, right? Let's say that you met someone and they just thought the world of you. They were obsessed with you. They thought you're just so awesome. And you really didn't do anything. You didn't really earn it. You didn't accomplish anything. You know who you are, and you know that they don't know anything about you. How would you feel about that? Would you feel good about that? No, you wouldn't, because they don't know anything about you. I understand the perspective, but you got to understand the reality of the situation and how other people are going to perceive it. And also that's not healthy for you, right? Think about it as well. What are you actually trying to accomplish there? Do you really love this girl? You don't even know her. You want to fall in love. You want to have a girl that you can give all your love to and be your whatever. I get that. But you are targeting a specific girl and putting that on her instead of her actually being the girl that organically causes those feelings to arise in you. Okay, so it makes it cheap. It makes everything you're doing and saying cheap. All right, let's move on. I've seen your videos about having an abundance mindset when meeting women, and I'm well aware of how toxic one-night is. Okay, he's got some awareness here, so this is good. Again, I don't mean to pick on Sam, okay? The thing is, though, I strongly don't want to lose Jenna because this is the only girl who lives right next to me. And like I said, I don't want to move somewhere else because I love where I am right now. Okay, I'm going to admit here, this is not what I expected to hear in the email. All right, this has gone a little bit more into the really creepy zone. All right. If he said something about some attributes of Jenna or whatever, she's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life. All right. But she lives next door and I don't want to move because I like it here. That's weird. That's a little bit weird, Sam. Okay. That's a little, it's sounding more serial killer-ish at this point. So I just got to say that's even more creepy. He says, based on some stuff I know about her, we have some things in common and we both share a passion for sketching. That's also weird, right? Knowing all this stuff, right? How do you know that she has a passion for sketching? This is stalker. This is weird. You tried to say that you understand what's going on and how toxic one-nightus is and how you messed up, but you're still doing it. You're still obsessing about her. You got to take down that shrine that you have in your basement of Jenna and move on. And let me tell you guys, okay, again, this is important to understand. And I don't mean to be brash about this. And I don't mean to be like, you should be a player. But once there's Jenny and Susie and Jill and Janice and whoever, then Jenny doesn't become so important that you build a shrine about her and obsess about her. And again, I'm not saying that you have to go and up your notch count to some ridiculous level. I'm just saying that once you have had success with more women, you've dated more women, you've been with more women, one of them is not going to be so important until you find one that is actually so important because you actually made a choice. Does that make sense? If you just pick some woman and you're like, all right, this is the girl, she's the girl I'm going to be obsessed with, it's meaningless. If you have dated lots of women or have success with lots of women, been with lots of women, and then you pick one, it's genuine, it's authentic, it makes sense because you had options. Women want a guy that has options but chooses her. They don't want a guy that had no options and just chose her because, damn it, you're the one. I just decided you're the one and you're the one. They don't want that. That's not good. That's not going to make anyone feel good. All right, let's see here. By the way, now's a good time to mention this. There's a bunch of videos in the Bulldog Mindset membership that will help you with this stuff. Okay, go check it out. In fact, there's a video on all kinds of dating and stuff, financial fitness. We've got a huge community of men. You can jump in our Discord and you can ask questions like this before you do stupid stuff. Okay, and some guys will talk you off the ledge. But there's also a video that I think you should watch on physical escalation. All right, I go through exactly how to physically escalate on a date so that you can understand how to not be creepy, because a lot of guys mess this up and they become creepy. They do the creepy hover hand. They do all kinds of creepy stuff on the date, touching the girl in a weird way. You need to be able to go for the kiss. Most guys don't know how to do that. So go check it out. If you join the membership, even just to watch that video, even if you just pay for 1 month to watch that video, it's totally worth it. It's only $7 for the first month. All right. Now, another reason why it's so hard for me to have an abundance mindset is because from where I am, which is New York, I always see women that already have boyfriends, husbands, and children everywhere I go, which easily discourages me from even trying to shoot my shot. Not only that, the level of attraction I feel for other women isn't as strong as the one who lives near me. Okay, this is just boilerplate excuses. All right, sure. Some women have boyfriends and husbands and children, but there's plenty of single women out there, especially in New York. Okay, if you're in New York City, in fact, the ratio of women is higher than men, so it should be advantageous for you. Go out to places where single women are going to be. So that's all I can say about that. And when you say that your level of attraction you feel for other women isn't strong as this girl, it's because you're obsessed with her. It's because you are stalking her. It's because you need to get this out of your mind. And who cares? If your level of attraction isn't as strong with other women, go and date other women. And then your obsession with this one girl will fade. I promise you. If you're obsessed with one girl, the best way to not be obsessed is to go and date other women. Even if you're not as attracted to them, it'll change around for you. All right, now. As of now, I have not been following her on Instagram nor Twitter, and yet I still can't stop thinking about her. I'm well aware it is important for me to focus on myself and always be on my purpose in life, so I don't plan on doing anything that'll put her on a pedestal and anything that comes off as needy and desperate, but I do want to have a chance with her. If you have any thoughts about this situation, please feel free to get back to me via email or YouTube to address some issue. Thank you for your time. Okay, can you see what's going on here, guys? Does this make sense? He's not giving up the battle. He's not going to put her on a pedestal, and he's not going to do anything that's needy or desperate, but he wants to have a chance with her. Even though she's rejected him multiple times, she's ghosted him. He publicly embarrassed himself on the Discord server. He still continues to stalk her. Why her? You have to think about this. Why? What are the attributes? I want you to write a list of all the things that you like about her. I want you to describe your relationship with her. I want you to describe the deep connection that you have with her and how that it's a mutual connection. I want you to describe those things. Write them down. The reason why I want you to do this is because I want you to see the reality. You have created an obsession about this girl without any kind of reason for it. There's nothing here. You have to let this go. You cannot be thinking that somehow you still want to have a chance with her. It's over. It's done. Okay. Now, I promise you guys that at the end of the video, I tell you how to know if something's creepy or not. And here's my golden rule for this. All right. Listen up. If something that is, let's say, sexy or suave or what you want to call it, it's bold. If you go up to a girl and you say, "Hey, you're beautiful. I'd like to get to know you," or "Could I buy you a drink?" Again, not suggesting that you do that or that you just offer to buy girls drinks. But if you did that, it would not ever be creepy. It doesn't matter how bad looking you are. It's not creepy. Why? Because you're bold, you're right in front of her, you're not walking up from behind or anything like that, and you're just shooting your shot. She might say, "Oh, no, that's okay. Thank you. I'm not interested." It's fine. It doesn't matter how short, how ugly you are. She's not going to think that guy's a creep. Now, that's not the best way to approach. Don't take that. Don't do that. I'm just using that as a real simple example because it's clearly bold. It's clearly innocent, and it's clearly showing some sexual intent that you're attracted to her. Again, not necessarily the smartest things to do when approaching a girl, but you're probably going to get rejected by doing that. But you can see that does not come across as creepy. It's never going to come across as creepy, okay? Because you're facing rejection. It's bold, right? Now, what is creepy is to be standing in the bar. You see an attractive girl. You look over at her. You try to make eye contact with her. Like every time she looks in your direction, she sees your eyeballs looking at her, okay? And then you're standing over there. You kind of turn your head. You keep on looking at her. She's like, "Damn, every time I look over there, this guy's looking at me. He's really creeping me out." Then finally, you get up the courage and you kind of walk over there and you stand near her for like 5 minutes. Then you're kind of listening into the conversation she's having with her friends. And then you start laughing, about the conversation she's having with her friends when you're not invited to that conversation. And then you turn to her and you say, "Hi, how's it going? I'm Sam." Now she's going to say that you're creepy, okay? Because what have you done? You tried to reduce your chance of rejection. You tried to reduce the impact of that rejection. Or maybe you just texted her, right? You didn't actually meet her and you just texted her. So you see what I'm saying? The reason why things come across as creepy is because you're buffering the rejection, right? You're putting it on her instead of putting it on you. Does that make sense? I've been in situations like this. I had a similar mindset. Every guy has had a similar mindset to Sam in this video. So Sam, I'm not picking on you, man. Like, it's cool. You're fine. You just have to grow past this. Like I said, so many guys are watching this video. They'll relate to this. Some guys are still in this mindset. If you need some help with this, I can help you. Bulldog Mindset membership. I have a link down below. I have a ton of videos on this, how to be bold, how to be more masculine. There's a wider range of things for sure, or whether or not you're going to get rejected maybe is a function of your attractiveness. But coming across creepy, that's something that you can control. There's plenty of guys that are not attractive, that are short, whatever you want to say, and they're not creepy. Okay, there's plenty of guys, but there are plenty of guys that are creepy, and it's because of what they're doing and their mindset, not because of their attractiveness level. So if someone tells you that BS, whatever, it's your responsibility. But go check out the videos on there, especially, like I said, the video on physical escalation. That will help you to not be creepy when you get into a situation with a girl where you want to physically escalate. You want to have some kind of physical interaction with her, because most guys mess this up and then they come across as creeps.